What's going on? It's Darryl Syms, and today we're going to be talking about why double stops are the coolest technique in guitar playing. That song that you heard at the beginning is a jam that Mateus Asato did over a song called Psycho by Post Malone. And the reason why I chose this song is because it's a perfect demonstration of why double stops are the coolest, especially in the style of Mateus Asato. So in this lesson, I want you to particularly pay attention to the use of double stops and how they enhance the overall sound and melody that Mateus is trying to highlight. So in this lesson, we're going to be talking a lot about double stops and the importance of double stops. So obviously, it's very important that you know what that is before we continue. And for those of you who don't, double stops basically means two notes played at the same time. Kind of like triads, except triads are three notes. Dyads are technically two, but only with double stops you can use any interval that you choose. So you could play two notes that are a third apart, a fourth, fifth, sixth, any interval that you choose. Now, in the context of this song, I want you to pay attention to how the melody has transformed from a very simple line to a very cool, wider, thicker double stop kind of sound. So listen carefully. Now, conveniently, there are only two chords throughout the entire song, and that is D sharp, which repeats for 4 bars, and then G sharp, which repeats for another 4 bars. Nice and easy. There's only two chords to highlight throughout the whole song. Now, let's move on with the first melody. It sounds like this. Not really much to explain on that one. That really just highlights the lyric line from the original song. And then, so that there is kind of just a pentatonic run, really. And then we have, so already without the double stops and the triad, we would have something that sounds like this. So it obviously sounds a lot cooler with the extra notes. Moving on from that, we have a similar phrase, just a different ending. So we start off with the same kind of thing. Only this time we don't use the whammy, we sort of use our fingers a bit more, which I prefer. I'm not very good with the whammy. So again, without the extra notes, we have, that sounds a lot less interesting than, and then the next phrase sounds like this. And once again, the original melody would sound like this. You can really hear how double stops improve the sound so much here. So once again, I'll play that phrase slow for you. So that's kind of the first chunk. Let's move on to the next part. We have, and slowly we got, and then we have a kind of chromatic run which starts on the 6 of the A string and 5 on the D. One more time slowly. So that's kind of the middle section concluded there. Go back if you need to, really study it and try and figure out the original melody behind all of those double stops. And then the very last section, number 3, we have, so that's just a really cool pentatonic run that starts on the 16 of the E string. I'll play it slowly for you. And then we have a few bends after that. That riff's just kind of free time followed by the last lick, which sounds like this. And as usual, the very last chord that Mateus finishes on is very beautiful. This is actually a sus2 chord. So we finish on our D sharp, but rather than 1, 3, 5, we have 1, 2, and 5, which makes it a sus2. Now to finalize this lesson, I'm going to play the whole piece at a slow pace for you to follow along. And not only do I want you to learn the piece, but I also want you to study the use of double stops throughout and how important they are. I think this is a perfect demonstration of why double stops are one of the coolest things that you can do to improve on a melody and make it cooler. So here we go. So there we go, hopefully that was slow enough for you to follow along to. I hope you at least took a few sort of tips and tricks away from this, but most importantly, like I said at the beginning, the highlight of this lesson is talking about double stops, and I want you to really be inspired by the use of double stops here and try and incorporate that into your own playing. The best thing you can do to take away the most from this lesson is understand the key that we're in here. So we're in D sharp major, and all of these licks and riffs and tricks are relevant to that key. So with that in mind, you should be able to transpose that to any key and kind of take inspiration from these licks and put it into your own playing and improvisation. There we go, that's the end of the video. I hope you managed to follow along and take something away from this, even if it's just a little riff or lick from the piece that you can kind of incorporate into your own playing. If you would like to download the full tab for this piece, then check out my Patreon, which is linked in the description below. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.